Every month, millions of Americans open their paycheck and see a number that looks bigger than it did just a few years ago. Their salary has increased. Their employer says they're doing well. The government reports that wages are rising. On paper, life should be getting easier, but something feels wrong. The bills keep getting larger. The credit card balance never seems to disappear. The dream of buying a home feels further away than ever. Retirement savings are growing slower than expected. And despite earning more money than before, many families feel poorer than they did 5 years ago. So what happened? How can a nation experience wage growth while its middle class feels trapped? Tonight we're uncovering one of the biggest financial mysteries of modern America, the cost of living crisis. And by the end of this episode, you'll understand why earning more money may not be enough to save your financial future. A few years ago, receiving a raise was exciting. It meant progress. It meant your standard of living could improve. But today, many Americans are discovering that a larger paycheck doesn't necessarily mean a better life. Imagine receiving a 5% raise at work. At first, it sounds like good news. Then rent increases, insurance costs rise, groceries become more expensive, utility bills creep higher, property taxes increase. Suddenly, that raise disappears before it ever reaches your bank account. This is the hidden problem facing the American middle class. Most people focus on the amount they earn. Very few focus on purchasing power. Purchasing power measures what your money can actually buy, and for millions of families, purchasing power has quietly been shrinking. The result is a strange and frustrating reality. People are working harder, earning more, yet falling behind. The system creates the illusion of financial progress, while everyday expenses consume a larger share of household income. The paycheck gets bigger, the life it can buy gets smaller, and that gap is where financial stress begins. The American dream was once built around a simple formula: work hard, buy a home, raise a family, save for retirement. But the cost of maintaining that dream has changed dramatically. Housing, healthcare, childcare, transportation, education, and insurance have all become larger financial burdens than previous generations faced. A middle-class family may spend thousands more each year just to maintain the same lifestyle their parents enjoyed decades ago. This isn't luxury spending. This is survival spending. These are not exotic vacations or expensive watches. These are basic necessities. The problem is that many households still budget, as if the world operates the way it did 10 or 20 years ago. But the financial landscape has fundamentally shifted. Today's middle class isn't fighting to become wealthy. Many are fighting simply to stay where they are. And when the cost of standing still keeps rising, even responsible families can find themselves sliding backward. This is why so many Americans feel exhausted despite doing everything society told them to do. The rules changed, but nobody announced it. When income can no longer keep up with expenses, debt becomes the bridge between reality and survival. At first, it seems harmless. A credit card covers an unexpected repair. A personal loan helps with medical bills. A buy now, pay later plan makes a purchase easier. But slowly, debt stops being a tool and becomes a lifestyle. Millions of Americans are now using borrowed money to maintain ordinary living expenses. The danger is not the debt itself. The danger is dependency. Every month, more income is diverted toward interest payments. Money that could have been invested, saved, or used to build wealth. Instead, it flows toward servicing old obligations. This creates a vicious cycle. Rising expenses lead to debt. Debt creates additional expenses. Additional expenses require more debt. Over time, households become trapped in a financial treadmill where running faster doesn't move them forward. And while the debt balances grow quietly in the background, many families continue believing that their next raise will solve everything. But the deeper issue isn't income. It's the growing gap between what life costs and what wages can sustainably support. Perhaps nowhere is this problem more visible than retirement. For decades, Americans were told to save consistently and trust the system. But many future retirees are discovering an uncomfortable truth. The cost of retirement itself is rising faster than expected. Healthcare expenses continue growing. Housing remains expensive. Inflation reduces the purchasing power of savings accumulated over decades. Even individuals with respectable retirement accounts are beginning to wonder whether their money will last. This fear is spreading across every age group. Younger workers worry they'll never save enough. Older workers worry they'll never be able to stop working. The traditional vision of retirement is being challenged by economic realities that few anticipated. The irony is painful. People who spent their lives being financially responsible now face uncertainty, despite doing everything correctly. And as living costs continue rising, the line between retirement planning and retirement survival becomes increasingly blurred. The crisis is no longer about luxury. It's about security. The old financial playbook assumed that income growth would naturally create wealth. Today's environment demands a different approach. The people who survive this cost of living crisis will not necessarily be the highest earners. They will be the most adaptable. They will understand that controlling expenses can be as powerful as increasing income. They will prioritize cash flow over appearances. They will view debt as a threat rather than a convenience. They will invest consistently even when markets feel uncertain. Most importantly, they will recognize that financial freedom begins with understanding reality, rather than chasing outdated assumptions. The middle class is entering a new era, an era where intelligence matters more than income, where flexibility matters more than status, and where financial resilience becomes the ultimate asset. The question is no longer whether the cost of living will continue rising. The question is whether individuals can evolve faster than the challenges surrounding them. Because those who fail to adapt may spend years wondering why their paycheck keeps growing, while their wealth keeps disappearing. But what if the cost of living crisis isn't the real problem? What if rising prices, growing debt, and shrinking purchasing power are only symptoms of something much larger? In our next episode, we'll uncover the hidden force quietly transferring wealth away from ordinary families and into the hands of those who understand how the financial system truly works. Most Americans never see it happening, yet it affects every paycheck, every savings account, every retirement fund, and every financial decision they make. The question is simple. If the game is designed this way, who is actually winning?